Yes, we are making our own 80s music here at LSU Odyssey. What's up, everybody? I've got some Fresca on ice. Oh yeah, that's my shirt. What's up, everybody? Happy Friday. LSU are about to play Georgia State this weekend. Jayden Daniels, should they just leave him out there? Get 1,000 yards, get 10 touchdowns. Why not? Then there's absolutely zero excuse to not give the guy the Heisman. We'll talk about Georgia State. We'll talk about that preview. Some team updates that I found interesting. And yes, we put out a recruiting piece as well today, which had some recruiting predictions for the 2025 class, where you've got Harlem Berry, you've got Bryce Underwood, you've got LSU already has Decorian Moore, one of the sickest receivers I've seen in the last few classes. This kid is just outrageous what he's done at Duncanville. We've already got him. And having such a piece is already a part of your class is such an asset. And you're seeing that. And you're seeing that attraction with a guy like Bryce Underwood, a linebacker like Keelan Moses. You know, this will be the first year of the post-Perkins era, so to speak. And so who's going to be that guy to lead LSU football in the middle going forward? Who's going to be that guy that's going to be like Harold who? And kind of like blaze that trail forward for LSU into not just, individuals kicking ass, taking names, but winning championships, championship winning linebacker play, championship winning defense. That's what we got to get back to at LSU, or we're screwed. And you know it, I know it, we all know it. It's unfortunate what we have seen. And I think I guess we could go into a little soliloquy here about the defense. This defense is what makes this defense so bad for me isn't the missed tackles. It's not the 55 points or 700 yards to Ole Miss. We allowed almost 700 yards to Ole Miss in 2019 at one point. For me, what really hurts about this defense is the missed opportunities that we actually had to make plays and actually to beat opponents just with a couple stops, a half, just 2 punts, a half. I'm not asking for turnovers even. 9 interceptions this season, 6 forced fumbles, only 3 fumbles recovered. That's kind of like in line with last year's haul. We had 9 interceptions total last year. 2 defensive touchdowns last year, 1 defensive touchdown this season, the Major Burns pick 6. But just give me some stops. Give me some damn stops. If you can just get 2 stops a half, LSU at least has just 2 losses and are still in this thing, right? Can we agree on that? LSU maybe pick up their second loss against Alabama, or we beat Alabama. And in this framework of LSU's defense being maybe 87th instead of 107th, maybe LSU, just maybe, would still be in this thing. Maybe, just maybe, it wouldn't even be like a question of Jayden Daniels being a Heisman front runner. There wouldn't be talk of Marvin Harrison Jr. being over Malik Neighbors for Biletnikoff. It's these should be our awards, man. This should be our season, man. And to see this defense be so historically poor, it does affect you because damn, what this team could have accomplished this year. I mean, they're already probably going to win 10 games with a defense that is just like indefensible. a defense that is indefensible. A defense that I can't defend. Um, a defense that any offense can offense. We're getting ridiculous here, but no, really, I was writing this article about Jayden Daniels this week, and every time I thought really seriously about everything about his accomplishments and where this program's going and what this team could have done and might still do, and you see a guy put up 600 yards of offense against a single team in a single game. No human had ever accomplished that. And then you know that without him doing every single one of those touchdowns, all 5 touchdowns, every single one of those 600 yards, LSU has a chance to actually lose that game against Florida. That's how bad our defense is. So against Georgia State, what signifies improvement? I don't think it's really what I'm looking for. What I'm looking for is guys who are ready to stand out, ready to take over, whether that's year one, the last few games of this year, or, kind of say, hey, hand raised, new coach coming in, whoever it might be, I'm your guy. That's another thing. A lot of LSU fans just kind of expect, and actually I take that back, not just LSU fans, but a lot of LSU media just expect Matt House to be gone because of how we've lost this opportunity to win a championship with Jayden Daniels, because of how poor his defense has been, specifically, doing the same thing over and over and over and over and expecting different results. That type of bullshit. Playing the same guys. Omar Spates on that starting lineup team sheet against Alabama, I knew we're going to get fucked in the rushing turbine. Everyone's been talking all week about Jalen Milroe throwing the ball. If you look at our previews of the Alabama game, what do we say? I actually feel better about our DBs if we have Toviano and Ryan out there. I actually feel we might have a chance. But I feel what he's going to do is spread us out, and he's just going to have 1 lane, 2 lane, 3 lane, 4 lane, 5 different lanes to run through. And probably 2 or 3 of those will be just wide open on every single play. And that's what we saw. We saw Jalen Milroe absolutely surgically destroy us rushing the football. We saw Florida actually run all over us for a bit there as well. And that's the thing about LSU. The defense has got to take on a new vibe, a new mindset, a new mentality. This defense has been playing soft for the last few seasons. Under Coach O, under Coach Raymond, under, you name the defensive coordinator, you name the DB's coach, you name the line. Like, we have been soft. We have been trending softer and softer each season as a defense. 2020, 2021, some of the worst defenses I've ever seen for LSU. And then at the back end of that 2021 season, you saw everything change once Coach O, it was announced he wouldn't be returning, and once the reins of the team were given to, God, what's his name right now? It's going to kill me. Durante Jones. Defensive coordinator Durante Jones, who it appeared had never actually really called a game all season. His first game calling was against Florida. It was kind of, LSU allowed a lot of points but made some big plays. His second game, I believe, was against Alabama, and LSU allowed 6 rushing yards in that game, held them to 20 points. Bryce Young, Heisman winner, to 20 points and 6 rushing yards. And if it weren't for a few more accurate passes from Max Johnson to a wide open Jack Besh, a wide open Malik Neighbors, LSU actually win that game comfortably in Tuscaloosa, missing half of their defensive starters. Where is even that heart? I'll tell you what's going on. LSU's defense has gone too national. We need Louisiana guys in those trenches, those defensive line trenches. We need Louisiana guys rushing the passer. We need Louisiana guys, Texas guys, you can throw them in there as well, covering or playing safety. We need Louisiana guys, we need Texas guys, we need Georgia guys playing linebacker. That's the formula. It's really simple. Get these dudes from these states in these positions. You're statistically, if you just want to look at it from a statistical, analytical point of view, 9 out of 10 times I'm correct on this and will be correct on this. It's not going to be the guy from Heartland, Michigan playing linebacker is going to really kick ass for you. You know, it's a guy like Greg Penn from Maryland, DeMatha High School in Maryland. He came in highly rated for the school, and he's led the team in tackles, or I think it was second in tackles on the team last season, and is leading the team in tackles this year, tied with Major Burns. But has he really made the difference for you? Has he won games for you? Has Greg Penn really taken over? He's played well. He's put in the miles. He's brought the lunch pail mentality. But is that guy winning games for you? I see a guy like Whit Weeks on the bench, and I see him being a guy that wins games for you. These guys have been playing football at a more intensive, more classroom-oriented, and more knowledgeable point of view than any of these guys. And not only that, but that goes right hand in hand with just being better athletes as well. They're better athletes in the South. And this defense for the last few seasons has been going to the East Coast, to the Southwest, it's been strange. Some of the polls LSU have had. Derek Davis Jr. from Pennsylvania. Let's take a look here. Yeah, let's bring this thing up. LSU 2023 commits. Defense. You see a guy like Womack. He's a 5-star. I don't care where he's from. Baltimore, if he's from Louisiana. I get why he's here. That's a duh to me. But, play the dude. 5 snaps, 1 sack, a few pressures, a couple tackles. Play the dude. DJ Chester has come in, played well at center in some big-time moments against Missouri, showing me that he's already got the mental stones. And that's another Georgia guy. JV Toviano, Arlington, Texas. 4 stars right there. His 5th star was taken the second he committed to LSU. Jaylen Brown, his 5th star was taken the second he committed to LSU. But Miami is a place where you can typically find the best receivers out there. I'm okay with that poll. That's fine. Kamarian Pimpton, Fort Worth, Texas. No problem there. Jackson Howard, Minneapolis, Minnesota. Maybe you'd think that that's a guy I'm talking about, but no, that's an NFL bloodliner. That's a kid who gets it. I actually really like the 2023 class. Caleb Jackson, Shelton Sampson Jr., Kylan Jackson, who's going to come into his own. Another Louisiana boy, Ricky Collins, another Louisiana guy who many are sleeping on. Too many are forgetting him in this quarterback trajectory of Daniels to Nussmeier, and then people jump and go to Hurley and go to Bryce Underwood or whoever they think is coming. Like, listen, Ricky is still there. Ricky C is still there, and he's a freak. Do not forget him. Ryan Yates, Denton, Texas, another guy who I feel like belongs, right body, right mindset. He has been playing in a unbelievable defense there at Denton Geyer for the last few years. He's someone who has actually been able to understand and actually get the house defense. And I'm not saying that that's anything wrong with the players. House needs to get that defense more simplified so his kids can understand this. This should not be NFL homework for these kids. Make it simpler. Christian Braithwaite, a linebacker, I tend to forget when naming these linebacker prospects. He's someone who's shown some pop, shown some fight this season on special teams. That's been where he has gotten his reps, but he shined. He did have like a missed tackle or something a few weeks ago, but for the most part, he's been good. Yeah, I really like this 2023 class when I go through it. This is Ashton Stamps, Mac Markway. Like there's some Lance Hurd, of course. Like we forget rankings. Sixth in the country, that class. That class has some dudes that are going to win a championship at LSU. I'm going to just tell you right now. 2022 class is where you find some interesting things. Quincy Wiggins. Is this going to be a game where we're going to see Quincy Wiggins playing? Is Quincy Wiggins finally going to get reps? Is Quincy Wiggins finally going to get some game time out there? We'll see about that. And how will he take advantage of it? Still has not registered a sack at LSU. Walker Howard, he's now at Ole Miss. Emory Jones, Will Campbell, we've seen those guys become absolute superstars as true freshmen. LT Welch, the only corner signed in the class, in the entire cycle, by Corey Raymond. And the jury's still out on LT Welch. Still so much work for him to do, but I think he can make it happen. This kid's a talent. DeMario Tolan transferred away from Auburn as well. His career is kind of in a free fall right now. Jordan Allen, we've seen him play some reps. Tyji Hill, he got his first sack, I believe, in a few batted passes. Here we go. This 2021 class went so national. Demarius McGee out of Pensacola. Garrett Dellinger from Clarkston, Michigan. He's been awesome, though. Derek Davis Jr., Monroeville, Pennsylvania. Did not stay. We tried to make him a running back. Landon Jackson, Texarkana, Texas. He's been a success at Arkansas. Transferred away after only a season at LSU. Savion Jones, still yet to see the ultimate best from him, although he did just get his second sack of the season last week. Bryce Langston, Ocala, Florida. We haven't seen anything from Bryce as an LSU Tiger. He has just gone like this. Just flatlined. And I don't think it's really like 81 not being played enough or 81 not showing up. Like maybe he's just not that good. Xavier Carter, he transferred out of Atlanta. Grady Penn III, DeMatha Catholic, Hyattsville, Maryland. Corey Kiner, Cincinnati, Ohio, another one who transferred. Jack Besh transferred after being one of the biggest freshman rock stars I've seen in recent memory at LSU. Kimo Macchianoli, jury's still out on him. Niceville, Florida, another guy. Navontek Strong, last time I heard, sadly, he was working on an oil rig and has basically given up on his football dream, and that's just terrible to hear. I hope that has changed since that conversation. And he's another one who transferred. Jalen Sheed transferred from Mississippi as well. So you had how many transfer from Coach O's last 100% class? Let's count 2022 as well, because even though Kelly finished that one off, technically most of that was Coach O. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Malik's in that class as well. 2021. Nussmeier's also in that class. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Armani Goodwin, another guy who's just kind of we still haven't seen the best from him. We don't know if he wants to transfer. We don't know what he's going to do. Deion Smith, another one. 9 players transferred from that 2021 class. 9. And then you got some star power. Mason Smith, Sage Ryan, Chris Hilton, Deion Smith, Brian Thomas Jr., and Malik Neighbors both came in that class. Armani Goodwin has been awesome whenever he's played, but he's rarely played. Garrett Dellinger has been a fixture as a starter for LSU on that offensive line. Joe Moore Award nominated offensive line. Malik Neighbors, about to be the all-time greatest LSU receiver, literally about to break the record if he can get 283 yards. It's insane. Garrett Nussmeier, about to be the future starter for LSU. Greg Penn III led the team in tackles last year. Second in the team in tackles last year, and is co-leader of tackles this season at 68. So you've got a good mix, but literally 9 guys transferred from that class. And guess what? That class ranked 3rd in the nation. And I remember there was a bunch of big buzz about that, but it didn't really matter in the end. Holy shit, we got a lot of comments here. Hermload, what's up, man? He says, how much will Garrett play tomorrow versus Georgia State? I'm guessing is what he means. Garrett, I've been told Garrett will play the whole second half. That's what I'm told. So I'm guessing Jayden Daniels for half, Nuss for half, which is what we saw against Army. So I think you're going to see, them just try and rack up the numbers, Jayden Daniels, and then let Garrett Nussmeier go in and run the offense and run it like it's a 0-0 score going into that second half. And hopefully that entails that he's throwing the football a lot. And hopefully that entails that he's kind of unleashing these freshman receivers and getting the running backs going, but then some play action, some deep shots. I want to see him unleashed. Hermload, could they leave JD5 in all game? That's what I've been saying, man. If they leave him in all game, he's going to put up historic numbers times 10. 1,000 total yards, 9 total touchdowns, 10 total touchdowns. Holy shit. Yeah, Jayden Daniels. You don't need to leave him in all game. I think that'd be ridiculous, and it would kind of pad the stats in a way that the committees would probably look at LSU okay, what are you trying to prove here? And it would probably negatively affect LSU if we did that. But if it was my team, We only have 3 games left of Jayden Daniels. Let him go out there. Let him create. Let him play football. Let him just go off. If we want to put up 700, 800 yards for just Jayden Daniels, I don't care. Let him do it. Bruce says... That is extremely painful, that cough. My literal rib has been strained because of the coughing. That is vicious. Lon, who has played best at DB this year for you? Holy shit, that rib pain is intense. For me, who has played best? Who has played the best at DB? I don't know. That's a tough question because Greg Brooks Jr. was obviously going to be that guy that you could count on back there. And then he got knocked out for the season with something that was really out of his control and something that was really tragic. And so, for me, it's kind of a loaded question because I don't think anyone's really deserving of that plaudit. No one's played that well enough for me to say even nominate them. I think right now at this point, we'll see how the next few games finish up. But for me, defensive back, I guess you could say Sage Ryan has been the best. But many would be like, what is he talking about? What is he watching? But it's in comparison to the other guys, yeah, he probably has been. Toviano, if he finishes the season as a starter and continues to play like he has, that would be my guy. Bruce says, I'm hearing Harold could leave. No truth to that. No truth to that. No truth to that. We are tight with Harold and his camp. We are tight with the people around Harold in a variety of ways. Trust me, if Harold were to be leaving, he would already be gone. This has been a very exhausting, tough season for him. Not only as a player who doesn't want to get beat on plays, doesn't want to look like he's missing tackles, doesn't want to be stuck holding the bag like he's been. He's a guy who wants to win. And he has literally seen a championship opportunity go slipping right through his hands. And it's frustrating for Harold Perkins. It's angering for Harold Perkins. And I actually feel when you look back on this 2023 season from Harold Perkins, you're going to see a season that was incredible. He was asked to do crazy, nonsensical things defensively. Things that he should not be able to do. And somehow he pulled them off. I mean, the way he has... Luther Burden had 100 yards on us in the first quarter. Okay? Luther Burden had little else after that. Let's look at his exact numbers. Because I know what Harold Perkins held him to, but let's see what his overall numbers were, because he had almost or over 100 yards in that first quarter. against LSU's DBs. And then when they switch Harold Perkins on him, yeah, he had 15 more yards after Harold Perkins was assigned to him. And Harold Perkins wasn't covering him every play. He caught like one pass for a few yards, but Harold Perkins literally shadowed that dude, held him to 2 total yards, just pass breakups, the interception that changed the game, cutting in on that route, which was a pass to Luther Burden, which would have usually been just an easy walk through first down for against the LSU defense. But what Harold Perkins has been asked to do and what he's been able to do, how he's pulled this off, is just crazy. I mean, look at how he's filled this stat sheet here. This is from our official numbers. We basically went to PFF. We went to Pro Football Focus. PFF, my bad. Sports Reference, ESPN. You know, some people do TFLs. Some people don't do TFLs. Some people don't collect pass breakup information correctly. PFF, you're terrible at that. And some people do it well. So we go from the best sources. We know the best sources of stats. We get all this information. And look at that. Harold Perkins played a ton of snaps for us. I think second or third on the team. The number 1 coverage grade on the team. Second overall pass rush grade on the team, only behind Braden Swinson. And then 71.3 overall defensive grade, 5th on the team. And like a few of the guys ahead of him haven't even played more than 50 snaps. 20 stops, negative plays caused by tackles, 2nd. 16 quarterback pressures, 2nd. 10 TFLs, 2nd straight season with double-digit tackles for loss. That's 1st on the team. 5 sacks, 1st on the team. 5 pass breakups, 1st on the team as well. 3 forced fumbles, 1st on the team as well. 1 interception, 3rd on the team. LSU are not going to be losing Harold Perkins, because if we do, we're screwed. We would be screwed for 2024. That's not a guy you can lose under any circumstances, and they will pay to make sure he stays. Bruce says Arch Manning to LSU. I've seen this all over the place. I've seen the whispers. I've seen the talking heads. I've seen T-Bob. I've seen you name it. Everyone's talking Arch to LSU. Well, you know, that actually could happen. I'm not ever gonna rule that out, because he's kind of sickened by what Texas is about, and he kind of wants out of that culture. He wants kind of out of that NIL bullshit. And I think he will be exactly the type of guy, type of character Brian Kelly, his staff are going to want on the team. The only question is, Arch Manning must play in his mind. He's got to start. He's got to be the guy starting right now, starting with his arrival. How do you turn to Garrett Nussmeier and tell him, hey, bro, I know you waited your turn. I know you threw away a huge transfer opportunity last summer and fall that, you know, may have seen you start at Alabama. But hey, buddy, Arch Manning is coming to town. Of course, you know everyone's gonna, competition. Oh, I'm ready for the competition. I don't shy away from the competition. inside there, what the fuck is this? You said I was supposed to be the dude. Like, I get it. Quarterbacks are always going to tell you they want the competition. They want bullshit. Listen to me very closely. They're also very temperamental, very egotistical as well. And they want to be trusted, but they want, like, with the team and with the offense, but they want to know you trust them. They want to feel that trust inherently. And so for for Garrett Nussmeier to basically fall on the sword for Jayden Daniels in a way that Miles Brennan did for Joe Burrow, like, oh, I'll back away, not make any quarterback drama, and I'll just be the guy in waiting. I just never see that scenario working out. And the second Garrett Nussmeier said he wasn't transferring last year, I kind of went, damn. Because I just worried that we might never see that kid get to where he should be because he's too damn loyal and stayed. And so I hope I'm wrong. I hope it really is Garrett's team next year. But part of me is just right in the back of my head saying, like, if you're Garrett Nussmeier, you've got to get ready to bolt at the soonest possible inquiry about Arch Manning arriving or some other quarterback. Brian Kelly, Joe Sloan, Mike Denbrock, this offense will pursue another quarterback before next season, whether that's the transfer portal or whatever. They will bring in another guy. So is the other guy going to be, oh, let's just bring in someone who doesn't threaten Garrett Nussmeier, or bring in an actual gamer who's going to push him, maybe even take the job? Do we want that? Do we want, like, the quarterback? Do we need the quarterback level to keep being raised and keep pushing everybody? Competition. Like, listen, there was no competition when Jayden Daniels, his presence basically got rid of Miles Brennan and Walker Howard. It was his team at that moment. And so Garrett Nussmeier's got to have that same mentality, that same vibe, the same aura about him, or someone's going to take this team from him. And I would hate to see that happen after all the sacrifices he's made for this program. I want to see Garrett Nussmeier say, no, this is my fucking team, and go out there and throw 4 touchdowns in that second half against Georgia State. Go out there and show that the chemistry we've seen that he's got with Malik Neighbors isn't a fluke. It's just as good as Jayden Daniels with Malik Neighbors. And in fact, he threw touchdowns to Malik Neighbors back in 2021 before Jayden Daniels even got to campus. Show us that, Garrett Nussmeier. Tomorrow against Georgia State, show us the quarterback we saw against Georgia in the SEC championship game last December. I was there in person. We saw Jayden Daniels with a ridiculous passing performance and a few nice runs as well before he got hurt. Jayden Daniels almost threw for 300 yards in that first half. And then you see Garrett Nussmeier come off the bench. LSU were already down big, and you think, well, what can LSU do here? What are LSU capable of even doing? How can they even make this a contest? And you just start seeing Garrett air it out nonstop. Left, right, center, throwing touchdowns. Jeray Jenkins throwing touchdowns with Malik Neighbors. Just really dropping dimes left, right, and center on the 2-time defending national champions in their quasi second home. Off the bench cold as well. And I know Garrett Nussmeier went into that game knowing You know, Jayden Daniels was banged up from the A&M game, and there was likely going to be reps for him to have. So he was more prepared than normal going to that game. Let's be real about that. Damn. When I coughed earlier on screen, holy shit. It felt like I just got, ooh. It felt like I just literally got fucking stabbed because my rib has been strained by the coughs, the violent coughs that I've had over the last 2 weeks. We got some type of terrible virus in the children's hospital when we took our son in there. And ever since, I have just been down for the count. And you heard me cough kind of involuntarily on screen. And it literally felt like I was stabbed on screen. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to kid around. That fucking killed. And it was like, holy shit. Whoa. Like, I feel like I ripped my muscle in the rib cage area. And it's just right here on this edge, just so bad. And so you see us pause. It's because we're being stabbed on the inside. Fuck, that hurts. Poe English says we need some dogs on defense. I'm talking hungry. I'll take your food, greedy. Matt House needs a new defensive scheme. If not, bring Jim Leonard in. Tired of the excuses. No defense, no title. Simple. Yep. I mean, even though it's a new era of college football, it's a new era of football where offenses reign supreme and offenses are expected to put up major numbers of points. And you're seeing a lot of champions in the last few years being teams who have kind of a shitty defense. Like kind of a defense that just gets by. Kind of weird. That's become a new phenomenon. Even last year, look at the Georgia defense. My God. And then 2019, LSU's defense totally just complimentary. 2020 Alabama against Ohio State, and that defense was not good either. So there's truth to this. Yes, championships are won by defenses, and defense is extremely important if you want to win championships. Yes, hand in hand. But lately, it's been more of just complementary defense. If you have the defense making plays when you need them to, you got the stars in the certain places you need them to be. You got a start linebacker, you got a star corner, shuts down half the field. You got a tough, hard-nosed safety. And then if you got like a 5-star, a couple 5 stars on the defensive line, you can win championships with that. Just right there. You don't need to have 3 5-star linebackers to win a championship anymore. And so that's what really actually hurts me personally about this LSU defense this season, is we didn't even have to be that good. We didn't even have to be that good to win. I want that old thing back. I don't know what you mean by that, my man. So yes, LSU will be playing Georgia State tomorrow. There's some young guys I really want to keep my eye out for, and type in any guys that you are going to keep your eyes out for, any young guys you really want to see play, because they're going to get playing time, and I think some of these guys are candidates for huge future roles. Ricky Collins, I want to see how he throws the football. Of course, Garrett Nussmeier, as we talked about earlier. As far as the receiving core, will we finally see like Kamarion Pimpton get some reps? Will we finally see Mac Markway involved in the passing game? Will Chris Hilton, kind of be unleashed? Only 9 catches, 144 for 1 touchdown all year. Wow. But what really shocks me even more, Aaron Anderson, 59 yards from 12 catches this season. If you were to tell me Aaron Anderson would only have 59 receiving yards after, this week 10? My God. Wouldn't believe you. Would not believe you. Whit Weeks, how much playing time is he going to get? Just start him, in my opinion. Just start the kid. We already know Omar Speights is so good, right? So if Omar Speights is so damn good and such a veteran, and we need him so badly for A&M, why not rest him for Whit Weeks and let Whit Weeks go out there and show you what he can do alongside Greg Penn III and Harold Perkins. Whit Weeks really was a valuable piece for that linebacking core that was starting to get really good there. And he was setting free Greg Penn III and Harold Perkins. He was able to set both of those guys free in what they love to do. And it was all thanks to that speed he's got. That speed and that brain. The McConaughey-esque voice that he's got. Don't be fooled. That kid's a genius on the football field. And I think it's been a massive disservice for his development to not continue to play him. 3 TFLs, half a sack on the season for Whit Weeks, just in those 3 starts. Will Braden Swinson add to that sack total? Only 2 on the season, but he's had 19 pressures. He's been held a ton. 5.5 TFLs. He's also got 5 swatted passes, Braden Swinson, this season. 5 swatted passes. My man has been owning the line of scrimmage, and there's nothing anyone can say about it. He continues like this and no one really else does anything. Even if, Mason Smith comes alive for a game or here or there, I think you can honestly say that Braden Swinson may be LSU's best defensive lineman this season. That doesn't sound crazy to me at all. 2 forced fumbles on 2 sacks, both huge game-turning plays. One against Missouri, one last week. Jordan Jefferson is he's someone that people love to watch. 5 TFLs, 1.5 sacks, 1 pass breakup, aka 1 batted pass at the line. He has been good. He's been solid. there's been some plays I feel like people have overlooked where he hasn't shown his best, and he's looked kind of rugged, kind of tired. But Jacoby and Guillory, I expect him to come back next season for his 5th and final season. I think he's excited to, actually. I think he realizes he could probably be the leader of the defensive line, potentially next to Mekhi Wingo. And I mean, Mason Smith, you want to see him erupt in this game. You want to see Mason Smith go out there and get a few sacks. You want to see Mason Smith make some plays, show some signs of life. This is Georgia State, man. Give us something to feel good about going in Texas A&M with this defensive line. You're the guy. Chad Raver, my guy, says, a mediocre defense would have won us an Natty. Yep. That's what I was saying. Literally, just give me 2 stops a half, and we would have still been in this thing. For all sad words of tongue and pen, the saddest are these, it might have been. And you've got a lot of those in LSU history, man. But this one kind of is even more bittersweet because if we watch some other fools walk off that stage in New York with the Bolitnikoff and the Heisman, and it's not Jayden Daniels, it's not Malik Neighbors, and those are just consolation prizes for what could have been, what should have been a college football playoff run, even with 2 losses. Man. Yeah, it really does hurt whenever I think about it. And that's what we opened the show with, is basically a rant on the defense, was how I was thinking about it, just like the greatness of Jayden Daniels, watching the highlights of Florida, and I was trying to write about it last weekend and writing that article, and I was like, how can I write this article without finishing by saying, in some other words, fuck this defense? Like, I could not do it without ending this article by saying, like, hey, Jayden Daniels has put up all this stuff. He's done all this great stuff, but we might watch Michael Penix or even J.J. McCarthy. Like, my lunchbox in the corner is throwing more touchdown passes than that guy. Like, if we watch that dude take off that stage with the Heisman Trophy to his name and Jayden Daniels sitting there having to just clap, man, I don't think LSU fans will live that down. And I think they will be just screaming for Matt House's blood. And that's the thing. I've had a lot of people, not a lot, but I've had a few people. I'll say it like this. I've had some people, some loyalists for Matt House kind of come to me and said, hey, he's going to stay. He should stay. This is why, blah, blah, blah. He's had this in his way. He's had that in his way. He's had this. And I'm like, that, okay. But for all those excuses, I can just say this. This was the solution. And he failed to do it for 9 games, 10 games. Why? Or this is the solution, and it took him 2 losses for him to finally do it. Why? Or he knew this guy was the better player, but still refused to play him. Why? You obviously know playing 15 yards off your receiver not only is going to give them a huge cushion of space, but they catch the damn thing, a quick screen. Some of those guys are just gone with that type of space. Okay? like one-on-one space. It's almost kindergarten. The off-the-ball thing on the defensive line by like a yard. Once again, you give an offensive line some chance to be dominant in the trenches for even a split second, they'll take advantage of that and they'll bully your guys. And we were beat up at the time and really needed someone like Pete Jenkins to come in here and buy us some time. And he did, but it wasn't enough. It was still the old school mentality with Matt House calling this 2 yards off the ball thing. It's like we're doing a soft zone even on the interior of the defense. So, one question I have is, what if Matt House stays? What does that mean for the future of the program? What does that mean for the future of defensive recruiting at LSU? What does that mean for our chances of winning a title in 2024? I'm asking all of you. I want to hear your responses. As for Georgia State tomorrow, what would it mean to you to see Jayden Daniels like stay out there and keep breaking records and keep smashing numbers and keep putting up crazy, unforeseen amounts of yards and touchdowns? Would that, you think the committee is going to respect that and honor that as, ooh, that's 6 touchdowns? Or are they going to be like, well, it's technically 3 because it's only Georgia State? Do you think Jayden Daniels going off against a gimme team, not a Florida, how will they rate that? It's insane. We have 2 receivers who are about to literally set insane records at LSU. One, Brian Thomas Jr. has a chance to at least top Justin Jefferson's 2019 total of 18, and he's tied with Terrace Marshall's 2019 total with 13, which is the nation's most touchdowns receiving wise. But I really want to see Malik Neighbors get that record. I mean, no one thought in a million years any LSU receiver would be able to beat Josh Reed's 3,001 yards. They would have to be great from wire to wire, right? Malik hasn't even played 3 complete seasons, and he's about to do this. 2021, he barely played. When he played, he was so good, they had to make him an all-SEC freshman selection. 2022, he barely got the damn ball when he should, and he put up 1,000 yards. Only 3 receiving touchdowns. I was fortunate to see one of them. Just 3 receiving touchdowns last year, but so many gutty plays. And now this season he gets his rewards, is able to just go off wire to wire. He's already over 1,000 yards. He's already got double-digit touchdowns. The question is, when is he going to break that record? Obviously, they just leave him in against Georgia State. He could put up 500 yards. So my question is this. With Texas A&M looming, a big game, Why take him out? Let him get the record. History isn't going to be like Georgia. Well, he did it against Georgia State. They're going to be talking about how he put up over 200 against Mississippi State. Talking about how he almost went for 200 against Alabama. You know, like Malik Neighbors has dominated everybody. He made Eli Ricks his bitch last year. Don't forget that. Don't minimize what Malik Neighbors has achieved here. It's absolutely nuts that people have. He's breaking records that Justin didn't touch, that Jamar didn't touch, Wendell Davis hasn't touched. The only guy who's above him statistically in LSU receiving right now is just Josh Reed. And that also goes for single game receiving. Josh Reed is probably never going to get that record broken. 140 yards on the dot per game receiving in that 2001 season for him. Malik is close, though. I believe Malik was at 129. Let's make sure of that. Receiving yards per game. Here we go. NCAA list. Yep, he's got 128.4. So he is close. Malik actually puts up like a few more 200-yard games. 150 yards, 200 yards here, something like that against A&M. Like, he might have it. He might even have that record from Josh Reed. So he might be taking the career receiving yards record from Reed and the yards per game record, which is both have stood since 2001 untouched. And I just don't think Malik has gotten the love he deserves. This dude makes the football field his playground just like Jayden Daniels does. Rushing the ball, throwing the ball. Malik, once he's got the ball in his hands, it's about that vision. It's about that power. It's about that escalating speed that you just can't quite put your finger on. And we're going to see it tomorrow against Georgia State, and hopefully we just see him put up 300 yards tomorrow and just break that record. You know, this could be an angry LSU. This could be an angry LSU performance from Brian Kelly's guys. Just relentless. Just crazy. Like, all right, Daniels is out. First half, we're up by 50, but so what? Here comes Nuss, and he's opening that second half, running and gunning it all over the field. Shelton Sampson Jr. gets his first touchdown. Jaylen Brown gets his first touchdown. You know, they're clearly going to redshirt some guys. Jaylen Brown is one of them. Jackson Howard on defense is another. But some of those guys aren't in danger of playing their fourth game yet. So just trot them out and let them go to town in this game. But yeah, baby, we are brought to you by ReleafMed. Get your relief today at ReleafMed.com. The #1 medical marijuana dispensary in Louisiana. Good friends of ours, great people, great services, and great medicine as well. Comments. I keep pressing the comment button and it keeps going away. There we go. Chad Raver says House made the in-game adjustments last season necessary to win games. Why he couldn't do it this year is beyond me. A regression for the ages. Dude, it is puzzling. And there are a lot of Matt House loyalists at LSU. a lot of people who don't think he deserves to go. And they're always hinting at there being something that was unforeseen, something he couldn't control that has been in his way. And is that a family thing? Is that a personal thing? I don't know. But regardless, someone at some point's got to say, hey, coach, we can't line 15 yards off the damn ball. Hey, coach, Whit Weeks is better than Omar Speights. Duh. We know this for a fact. We don't care about your personal relationships. Play the better player. And I understand this staff wants people to earn it. They want Womack. They want Weeks. They want these young guys to earn it. Right? Or does that just mean wait your turn until like everyone's so injured we're backs up against the wall and then we're desperate for you to come out there and save our ass like Toviano did against Alabama? Like, what is it? You will only play when we need you to and when we really hope that you kick ass because everyone's injured. Other than that, keep your head down. We don't want you getting too big, too soon, too big for your britches. Like, it seems a little weird to me, Chad. It seems almost like they don't want players to get a big head, a big ego, too quick, too soon. And I'm sorry, but nothing really like hurts your team more than a kid who's killing it, kicking ass, taking names, who deserves to play, and you're just like, nope, sit down. Because even the veterans see it. They go, that guy should be playing. The veterans know better than anybody. They were excited to tell Whit Weeks he had gotten his opportunity to play against Mississippi State. But the only reason he got his opportunity was because Omar Speights was hurt. But look what happened. LSU won that game in dominant fashion. Our best defensive performance of the season. We made Will Rogers, Mississippi State, our bitch. They were in eternal servitude out there for us. They did nothing. We allowed nothing. And then you go out the next week and you play Omar Speights again. You get away with it because you play against some shitty teams, some terrible offenses. And because you get away with it, your beliefs are reinforced that this guy is better than this guy. And I saw so many saying, see, Speights is better than Weeks. He just proved it against Army and Auburn, blah, blah. I'm like, dude, those are two of the worst offenses, just like we have a bad defense. Like, do you not understand that the level of competition went down massively? And then you got Whit Weeks coming back in and changing the game against Missouri because Omar Speights once again was hurt. And our defense came alive at some point in that game and did enough to win that game. And then Omar Speights is back against Alabama, and we get clapped. Omar Speights is out there against Florida. We get ass clapped, and Jayden Daniels just basically says, I'm running for over 200 yards. I'm going to throw for nearly 400. Fuck all of you. And just went crazy. Give me that Heisman, damn it. Give me that Heisman, bitch. Like, he literally just, I actually think Jayden Daniels' highlights against Alabama were unbelievable. I think some of the plays he made against Alabama were ridiculous. And that should have been a game LSU should have had some type of defensive plays from. some type of defensive stops to get us a grip in that game. We were up 28-21 in that damn thing. We let Jalen Milroe beat us. Jalen Milroe might be the difference between whether Jayden Daniels wins the Heisman Trophy or not, is whether Jalen Milroe is involved or not. And that game will play a big central focus statistically on whether he wins that Heisman Trophy or not. God damn it. Damn you, Dallas Turner. Matt House, what have you done to our program? Matt House. I wonder what happened. I want to know how that regression went from him being up for the Broyles Award and everyone saying, that's the best DC in the country. That's our DC, yeah. And, and then questions about, well, Denbrock. Is Denbrock really an OC? Cut out for the SEC? Oh, he's too slow. Questions about everything. He's regressing with Jayden Daniels. He's blah, 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 blah. You heard everything negative about Mike Denbrock and everything positive you could possibly hear about Matt House. Hope to God we can keep him. Oh, hope to God we can keep Matt House. How much are we going to have to pay? Well, you better get used to Matt House leaving soon. Oh, my God, he's going to have so many jobs. Well, here's the thing. Everything completely flipped this season, and it's insane. And I understand Jayden Daniels masks a lot of deficiencies offensively, but that's what you need in this modern, high stakes, fast-paced game of college football atmosphere as well. You need guys who can just rise in the moment. They don't need a coach to tell them to make the play. They don't need a teammate to tell them to make a play. They just go, you know what? I'm going to make a play for me and my family right now so we can be noticed, so I can take that next rise into my career. Someone who's hungry enough, ambitious enough to say, fuck you. I'm gonna kick your ass at the line of scrimmage. I'm gonna outwit you. I'm gonna beat you into the ground. I'm gonna bury you, and I'm gonna take your soul in front of me. Like, you need those type of players at LSU. You need guys with swagger, with finesse, with ferocity, with intensity, with power, with all. You just need the complete package. I see some guys who are complete dogs at LSU right now on this defense who are being coached into being lambs, coached into being sheep, coached into being really, really, really fucking soft. And it hurts the cranium, it hurts the brain, it hurts the heart to know LSU defense has really had its balls coached out of it. We've literally been emasculated by defensive coaching that outsmarts itself. And that's what we need to get rid of. So if Matt House is going to stay, he needs to, we really need to make the decision right now. If this guy's just going to leave in 2 years to go back to the NFL, we make the cut now. We sever the relationship, sever the ties now. Okay? That's what we need to do. If he's committed to the program, committed to being better, committed to going 180 on all of his ridiculous decisions, then I think with the structure in place, with how good we know Matt House can be, it would be interesting to see him return. It would be. But what he has done this season is impossible to overlook. His failures this season are impossible to compartmentalize and kind of just lock away and, well, screw it, let's go another season with him. It's hard to overlook that when you had a championship quarterback who could bring you everything. He could bring you to the table. He could beat anybody on any given day. He just needed a defense that could just help him with just a couple plays. Just a couple fucking plays. That's it. We couldn't do it. We could not do it. We could not help Jayden Daniels in that regard. And I think that is almost a fireable offense in and of itself. The fact that we could not complete what should have been at least a championship contending college football playoff bound season. Because even at 7-3, we've got so much Heisman buzz for Jayden Daniels. It's insane. Imagine the Heisman buzz for Daniels had he just done that against Florida and we only had 1 or 2 losses. LSU still have their destiny in their hands. They're still in it as long as they beat A&M. They're going to have a showdown against Georgia. Blah, blah. And hell, we could have lost that game to Georgia by 1 point in overtime, and Jayden Daniels does this crazy, unbelievable performance to keep us in that game. And the committee could have still said, shit, give me more Jayden Daniels. Put him in the college football playoff because some of these other teams are just shitty. They just lost their second game in a conference that's far weaker than the SEC. You know, like it's – but instead you've got undefeated Washington. You've got undefeated Ohio State. You've got undefeated Michigan. Undefeated Georgia. Undefeated Florida State. You've got some teams that have almost hobbled to being undefeated, such as Florida State. Georgia have had a few close ones, like the game against Auburn. But mostly Georgia just turns on that switch when they need to, and it's just gone. And Washington definitely had a lot of close calls, some close games. So for me, I just all the promise of this season, all of what could have been possible, was still right there for us in the Alabama games. We can get that job done. For the second straight year, LSU had 2 losses before October had ended. And yet we still had our destiny for the SEC and a college football playoff run in our hands. And this season we had a Heisman to go win. We had a Biletnikoff to go win. We had 2 guys who could have been sitting in New York City for the Biletnikoff. Now you'll probably only see Malik. That's why I want to see an angry LSU team tomorrow. Take out the frustration. Take out the rage. And that's who I'm going to be looking out for tomorrow. I want to see Ryan Yates play some big moments tomorrow. I want to see him just play the whole game. Play him the whole game out there at safety. Let him just play center field at free safety. And then let Major Burns attack the box. Give Andre Sam a game off or something. Or sub him in, rotate him in, but let Ryan Yates play. I want to see Ryan Robinson Jr. play. That's a dude who always shined in coverage. And we just never saw him. Like, why isn't that a guy we couldn't find out how he was? He played number 34, Ryan Robinson Jr. He played well always when he played against, the spring game, fall camp, with the 1s, with the 2s, at nickel, at corner, wherever he played, he always has balled out. So why haven't we seen him? Jeremiah Hughes has been the best defender on special teams all year alongside Christian Braithwaite. Show him that means something. At least let him start the second half and play that whole half at corner. I think that would be a great show of faith for a player who's run his lungs out on special teams and made some great plays as well out there. Dylan Carpenter, interesting at defensive line. Tyji Hill, another interesting guy at defensive line. Kylan Jackson, will we see him tomorrow at safety? You know, you heard some really disparaging comments by Brian Kelly. Well, if he can tie his shoes, that I got to tell you, that was a stupid comment from Brian Kelly. You think that doesn't hurt parents' feelings when they hear that? Do you think parents just always have the same sense of humor as you do? Because if so, I got to tell you, man, you better watch yourself saying some stuff like that, like making moms think that you think their kids are stupid by saying, "Well, I can tell you can tie your shoes." Like that was just a dumb statement by Brian Kelly. And I'm sorry, I know there's a lot of Kelly loyals who watch our show. We love Brian Kelly too. We think he's going to be a successful coach at LSU as well. We think he's going to win a championship at LSU. We actually believe he's going to win multiple. But stop it with the smug bullshit comments like that are going to really rub families the wrong way. And that Kylan Jackson comment, not for me. Not good. Quincy Wiggins, play the dude all game. Let him get some reps. Like, actually see what he got see what he's actually made of still. See if he's actually, like, game shape still. You know? He's barely played. So, there's some interesting guys out there for LSU to be playing tomorrow against Georgia State, and we're going to be checking it out. We're going to have all systems go tomorrow. All systems go. Buckle up and get ready for LSUODYSSEY.com's coverage of that game, Georgia State. We're going to have some interesting breaking news before the game, just like we did last week. Last week, we broke the news about Coach Jimmy Lindsey returning to the team. This week, we have something else in store as well. So keep the site refreshed. Keep your notifications on. It's going to be on the site. It's not going to be on YouTube. Only people who are going to LSUODYSSEY.com are going to be seeing this. So make sure you are at LSUODYSSEY.com so you can see that news the second it drops before the game. We're going to predict LSU are going to ball out here and win this thing. Let's see what our prediction was here. I like to go and see what our predictions were before the season on our schedule, game-by-game pick-a-thon thing. It's 2022. Nope. Did we not? Okay, there we go. I was like, did we not put predictions as the title? Like, what the hell's going on here? Okay. We actually predicted quite a ton of 40-point games and a ton of big stats for Jayden Daniels, so we got that nailed. We predicted 64-0. We predicted Garrett Nussmeier for the offensive MVP. and we predicted he would throw for 314 and 3 touchdowns. So we're predicting a 300-yard game from Garrett Nussmeier, 3 passing touchdowns from Garrett Nussmeier as your offensive MVP, shared co-offensive MVP with Caleb Jackson. Running back, we predict he's going to run for 135 yards on the ground and 1 touchdown. Interesting. Defensive MVP, we got Jayden Toviano with 7 tackles, 1 pass breakup, and 1 INT. So that's all 3 of those look in play. So we've got Garrett Nussmeier and Caleb Jackson as your co-offensive MVPs after what they're going to do in that second half, or perhaps first at some point as well. And then your defensive MVP, we predict Jayden Toviano, who had 7 tackles the last few weeks, also picking up a pass breakup, second on the season, and an interception, his first as a Tiger. And LSU getting the shutout. Probably not going to happen, but this is Georgia State. We'll just ride with that pick. So 64-0. We're predicting Garrett Nussmeier, Caleb Jackson share offensive MVP. Caleb with 135 on the ground, 1 touchdown. Nuss with 314, 3 passing touchdowns. And Jayden Toviano, your defensive MVP. 7 tackles, 1 pass breakup, 1 interception. Everybody, thank you so much for checking us out. We've been presented here tonight by ReleafMed. As always, get your relief today at ReleafMed.com or stop by their dispensary there. Everybody, have a good night. Take it easy. Have a good rest of your weekend, but hopefully you check in with us post-game show of Georgia State. We'll be able to last a lot longer than we did last week. We could barely even breathe last week, but yeah, this sickness sucks balls, and I'm so glad we're at the light of the end of the tunnel here, and some energy finally, some energy. My God, thank God for ice. Everybody, have a good rest of your weekend. Hopefully LSU get a good ass-kicking win here against Georgia State. We see Jayden Daniels put up a shit ton of numbers. We see Garrett Nussmeier get even better, improve. And we see a lot of freshmen, a lot of fringe guys get some time and show up. That's what I want to see. Show up and show out. Peace, everybody.